Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and if you don't celebrate it, or celebrated it some time ago, well, I hope you had a happy Thursday then. So, I wasn't planning on making this video until I saw that we actually hit over 100 subscribers, which to me is a big milestone. Originally, I was setting a deadline for us to gain 100 subscribers before 2018, but you guys already helped me achieve that. So we're going to try for 200 before 2018 rears its head. I think we can do that. And even if we don't, you all who are here already or are just coming are amazing. But honestly, thank you all who have clicked that subscribe button. It means a lot to me, more than you may know. I have a lot of issues that I tend to have in the real world, a lot of just anxiety in general, but I'm not going to get into that here. I'm just grateful for people really enjoying my content, and I'll have more to come for all in the near future. Anyways, this is a special for a reason, as I'm going to tell you guys how I got into World of Warcraft. Probably a good time, too, with the 13 years of WoW up, and what I'm thankful for, since Thanksgiving and such. So, I got into the Warcraft franchise from my brother. I was around 8 years old, and I didn't really have much of a grasp on stories that much back then. I didn't know how to read very well either, and my brother got me into the game after I had watched him play it numerous amounts of times. Unbeknownst to my mom at the time, of course. He'd let me play it after I had likely encouraged him, quote-unquote, to let me play. Memory's a bit foggy on that one. I'm not really sure how I actually convinced him back then. He might have just been cool about it. I remember getting enriched with the cinematics and falling in love with the orcs for both their brutalness and more or less the color of their green skin. My favorite color is green, by the way. This was also on my dinosaur computer in my room, where I was used to mostly playing Math Blaster and Sonic 2. So this game was a step up from them in many ways. Thrall was just a character I liked too. There's a reason he's my second or third favorite character in Warcraft, still. But back then, it was just because he wielded lightning and rode atop a massive wolf. And I really like wolves too. Aside from the orcs and the rest of the races in the Horde, I also really enjoyed the undead, both in story and in gameplay. Speaking of story, it was also very easily grasped for my 8-year-old mind at the time, as they explained it vocally and also showed some amazing visuals that were both nice, short, and sweet. I ended up playing Warcraft 3 a lot, as I think I also started to quote it in my elementary school, which perhaps gave several alarms to both my teachers and parents, as not all the words were exactly child-friendly.
Give my regards to hell, you son of a bitch.
As I played the game more and more, I became very invested in the characters, and most of all, really enjoyed the story of Arthas and the orcs. I didn't care much for the Night Elves back then, either, though I did think they were pretty alright. I did eventually step away from playing Warcraft 3, not exactly finishing it too, though I did eventually. But it was due to another game that pegged my interests even more, that my brother was again playing, and it was called World of Warcraft. A lot of the stuff my brother did I ended up repeating, because back then I really looked up to my brother, even when he was a jerk at times. Even now I look up to my brother and thank him a lot for what he did for me back then and now, not just World of Warcraft. But he told me the gist of it, that I could make my own character in the Warcraft universe, and to me this was the coolest thing ever, especially after watching him on his undead warrior, Knives, named after the character from Trigun, who had his very own undead horse. I remember he made a macro for whenever he did a /mount special, he would shout in /say hi-ho silver. It was really dumb, but I thought it was really cool back then. So on his account, he let me make my own character. Back then, I went ahead and made myself an orc because I loved orcs a lot, and from what I knew and experienced already in Warcraft 3. It was an orc warlock because at the time I didn't know hunters were a thing until much later, and the 8-year-old me just adored the concept of summoning demons. Super healthy child, I swear. I just had a big imagination, yeah. By the way, the orc's name was Blades with a Z, because, you know, I had to add a Z into everything to make it sound cooler, or something, back in 2005. Listen, 8-year-old me and 20-year-old me do not think that's similar. Now, sadly, in World of Warcraft Classic, you need to read, and the 8-year-old me didn't really know how. So, I didn't do quests, and all I ever did was really auto-attack monsters. I didn't cast the spells or anything. I remember having all grays in my armor, and somehow managing to get to level 16 with just my imp as my minion, though I died a lot. I also remember being stuck in the Barrens, my Hearthstone was destroyed, and all of my gear was red. And my brother had to do quests as me, and got me my Voidwalker, which I still think is like the coolest demon ever, but that's just me. So yeah, I was very, very young, and not very into reading as I am now. Regardless though, I was having fun, even if I did keep dying. Everything changed when my mother learned that I was playing a T-rated game. She was doing it for my own good back then, but it really did upset me when my mom stopped letting me play it. Also, probably didn't help I didn't understand the concept of one player per account, as I kept disconnecting my brother whenever he was trying to play downstairs. So, I wasn't allowed to play World of Warcraft anymore, and Blades would forever sit as level 16 stuck in the Barrens, until my brother would later delete him years later. I was a sad little sad sack, but I still had Warcraft 3 to play and finish at least. But my mom figured that I was playing that too, and I suffered the same fate that I did with WoW. Right on the Rexar level 2. Dret. There was one game I was permitted to play during my times of inability to play the favored Warcraft games that I held so dear, and that game was called Adventure Quest, a game that I don't even touch anymore. I played that for the next 3 years while I couldn't play World of Warcraft. During my time on Adventure Quest, funnily enough called AQ back then, my brother managed to get my mother interested in playing the Burning Crusade with him in the following years in 2007. This got my mom to play the game and to test the waters, so to speak. I was allowed to watch them both play, and it was my only way of honestly getting WoW content. I didn't really understand what was going on, but it was still a rather fun experience for me. 2008 rolled around, and I got to see the Wrath of the Lich King cinematics, and man, was I really wanting to play the game then. Especially since Arthas, one of my favorite characters, was a primary factor in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. But alas, I wasn't allowed to play World of Warcraft until I was the age of 13, which would be at the time exactly in 2 years, as I was only 11. So around the time of Cataclysm was the time that I was supposed to play World of Warcraft. But my mom, being the awesome mother that she was, surprised me with the Wrath of the Lich King expansion as a Christmas present. And I was permitted to play on the World of Warcraft only with her, instead of having to wait till I was 13. I remember screaming and dancing around like an idiot, but man, I was happy about it. I honestly didn't mind playing with my mom, as it was worth the wait. So I created another orc that looked almost identical to Blades, but instead his name was Banner, named after Bruce Banner, like the Hulk. This character is the same character you see in my videos, although his name is Bannerrock now. Just entering into the World of Warcraft for the first time, again, felt so magical, and stepping into the gates of Orgrimmar and seeing that busy city, it was glorious. I still miss old Orgrimmar, and that's like the one and only reason why I want to play Classic, really. I think by having me wait to play the game, it felt so much more special when I actually got to play it. I hold so many wonderful memories in Wrath of the Lich King. I actually was able to read a whole lot better back then too, and just experiencing both the rise and fall of Arthas, which was really special to me, and it gave a lot of reasons as to why Wrath is my second favorite expansion. I'll be sure to give you guys even more stories, but this is how I got into World of Warcraft. I hope you guys liked it, and I look forward to growing and talking with you all in the future. If you guys like these types of videos, I can make more of these without the need for it being a subscriber special. Thanks a lot for watching. You all are amazing, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Ciao for now.